You know, there are deep worries about crime. They've become top of mind for most people in New York. Some crime has recently dropped, we know, but compared to pre-pandemic crime in the nation's biggest city, it's way up, way up. The numbers, in fact, do not lie.
1898, Brooklyn became one of the 5 boroughs of New York City, son. It was like a magnet for immigrants and refugees from Europe and all the ethnic groups in Manhattan. Being located on the East River, Brooklyn became a major industrial and shipping hub for New York. As Brooklyn developed, each neighborhood became its own distinct enclave for different ethnic groups and businesses. And Brooklyn's population just kept growing and growing throughout the 19th and 20th centuries, like it was nothing. At number 5, we have Fort Greene.
This morning, an apparent targeted shooting in Brooklyn leaves a young man with a gunshot wound to the leg. It happened in Fort Greene at 2 this morning. Police say 2 men approached a 17 or 18-year-old male outside a restaurant on Myrtle Avenue. They fired several shots. Video shows bullet holes in the building and broken glass on the sidewalk. No word yet on the victim's condition.
They're targeting 17 alleged offenders. We are at the Walt Whitman houses in Fort Greene, where detectives say 3 of the most violent live. One by one of the alleged gang members are in custody, including 17-year-old Giovanni Bennett. He's accused of firing a gun right outside of MetroTech in broad daylight. A bullet hit a 19-year-old college student, an innocent bystander. Police also arrested these 2 17-year-olds in connection to a mass shooting. 8 people shot. 1 died outside the Eleanor Roosevelt houses over the summer.
These 3 that came this morning are the worst of the worst that we brought in. These are the 3 individuals that ran around our Brooklyn streets with no regard for the community.
Fort Greene, located in Brooklyn, is a historic district known for its beautiful Italianate and East Lake row houses. The Williams Savings Bank Tower, which stood tall for 80 years, was once the tallest building in Brooklyn. However, in recent years, some of Fort Greene's tree-lined neighborhoods have been replaced by high-rises and public housing developments. Fort Greene has had its share of economic struggles, particularly due to the home improvement loan scandals of the 1990s that led to many foreclosures. As a result, there is a disparity in socioeconomics among the population, with a large upper middle class and a large lower economic class. Despite this disparity, the population of Fort Greene is over 21,000. Furthermore, there is a significant disparity in home values, with costs on the rise. Unfortunately, this has caused some longtime residents to be priced out of their neighborhoods. At number 4, we have East New York.
Police want to speak with potential witnesses to a gruesome murder in Brooklyn. The NYPD just released photos of 6 people they hope have information about the crime. Last month, the remains of 22-year-old Deasia Johnson were found inside an apartment in Cypress Hills. Police say her body parts were stuffed into 2 suitcases. So far, no arrests.
Guys, just before we came on the air, as you mentioned, that officer at Brookdale Hospital in critical condition. The mayor and police chief, again, police commissioner rather, speaking just moments ago, saying that all of this happened apparently after a robbery, an attempted robbery. The officer trying to purchase a car in this general area, and then that's when those shots rang out. I want to step out and show you a little bit about this massive crime scene here.
East New York is a residential neighborhood located at the eastern end of Brooklyn, covering an area of 1.867 square miles and home to nearly 92,000 residents. The area developed as an industrial region and railroad hub during the 19th century, incorporating elevated transit lines to accommodate a growing population seeking manufacturing jobs. However, after World War II, East New York lost many of its manufacturing jobs, leading to socio-economic problems. High unemployment and crime rates led to poverty and drug addiction. Furthermore, East New York was hit hard by the mortgage scandals of the 1970s, exacerbating these issues. East New York is made up of several subsections, including Cypress Hill and Starrett City, a large subsidized apartment community. Unfortunately, the whole is a run-down area of East New York. In 2008, the SHIP redevelopment projects helped build new townhouses in the neighborhood to house lower and middle-income families. However, there has not been much additional redevelopment of the area, leaving it vulnerable to poverty, drugs, and crime. At number 3, we have Bushwick.
Before, we're following breaking news out of Brooklyn. Police are searching for a gunman after 2 men in their 20s were shot in front of a restaurant in Bushwick. It happened just after 4 this morning on Irving Avenue. The suspect fired the shots from a dark-colored SUV. Both victims taken to Elmhurst Hospital. They are expected to survive.
Well, this noon, police continue to search for the man responsible for what they're calling a pair of random attacks on women in Brooklyn.
An 18-year-old was stabbed in broad daylight yesterday. Another woman was punched in the face. CBS's Elijah Westbrook spoke to one of the victims in Bushwick.
Well, the victim told us that the incident happened right here at this intersection. This is Central Avenue and Bleecker Street. She says that she was walking down the street when a man came up from behind, pulled her by her hair, and then dragged her to the ground before proceeding to stab her at least twice in the stomach.
Bushwick is a historic, working-class area in northern Brooklyn, originally developed by German immigrants in the mid-1800s. The neighborhood was known for its industrial character, particularly its breweries, which earned it the nickname Brewers Row. By 1890, there were 14 breweries within a 14-block radius. However, the last brewery in Bushwick closed in 1976, and the neighborhood experienced riots and looting at that time. Today, Bushwick has diverse housing options, including public housing projects, 2 to 3 family townhomes, and 6 family apartment buildings. With a population of over 29,000 and covering 1.305 square miles, Bushwick has a dense population. The median rental price is $795 per month, making it an affordable option for many. In the mid-2000s, the city and state of New York began the Bushwick Initiative to revitalize the housing and economy of the area. While progress has been slow, the lower cost of living in Bushwick has started to attract young professionals to the neighborhood. However, crime rates in Bushwick remain higher than in other parts of Brooklyn. At number 2, we have Bedford-Stuyvesant.
And to the rising gun violence in New York City, the NYPD responding to multiple shootings overnight, including in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, where 8 people were shot, 4 men, 4 women. Police say it happened just before 12:30 this morning at a playground on DeKalb Avenue near Marcus Garvey Boulevard. All 8 victims are listed as stable at area hospitals.
Police are looking for a group of women wanted for attacking and robbing a cab driver. Investigators say after the women were dropped off along Atlantic Avenue in Bed-Stuy, they threw some kind of chemical in the driver's eyes and stole $200 from him. The women are all believed to be in their 20s. The 47-year-old cab driver was taken to Interfaith Medical Center in stable condition.
New tonight, a double shooting in Brooklyn sends 2 men to the hospital. Police tape surrounded a black SUV riddled with bullets on Fulton Street in Bed-Stuy. One man was shot in the hip around 7 this evening, the other in the ankle. Both expected to be okay. Police say the suspect took off in a gray BMW.
While it is true that Bedford-Stuyvesant has had a history of high crime rates, it is important to note that crime rates have been decreasing in recent years. In fact, according to NYPD statistics, overall crime in the 79th precinct, which covers most of Bedford-Stuyvesant, has decreased by more than 75% since the early 1990s. While it is still important to exercise caution and be aware of your surroundings, it is also important to recognize the many positive aspects of the neighborhood, including its rich history, vibrant culture, and strong sense of community. Many residents and community organizations are working hard to make Bedford-Stuyvesant a safer and more livable neighborhood for all. At number 1, we have Brownsville.
Police are searching for whoever shot and killed a teenager in Brooklyn. The NYPD released new surveillance video of the suspect as he opened fire on Saratoga Avenue and Prospect Place. This happened in Brownsville yesterday. Investigators say that suspect pulled out a gun and shot 17-year-old Craig Bassett in the chest. That victim was taken to Interfaith Medical Center where he was pronounced dead.
District Attorney Eric Gonzalez and the NYPD say the streets of Brooklyn are safer with the arrests of more than 24 gang members. They allegedly terrorized the residents of 10 NYCHA developments in Brownsville with broad daylight shootings and 2 murders. At least 30 weapons were recovered by the NYPD's Gun Violence Suppression Division during the Brooklyn DA's 2-year investigation into a deadly and dangerous gang rivalry. One gang is called the Woo. Their opponents, or ops, are called the Cho. They lived in close proximity to each other in Brownsville and used social media and drill music videos to threaten each other and escalate their rivalry. The 32 suspects are charged in 4 indictments with a total of 104 counts, ranging from murder conspiracy to weapons possession.
The case covers a total of 27 incidents, including 2 homicides and 17 additional non-fatal shootings.
Unfortunately, Brownsville still faces many challenges today. The poverty rate in the neighborhood is over 40%, with many residents relying on public assistance. The crime rate in Brownsville is one of the highest in New York City, with a high incidence of gun violence. The community is also facing issues with poor housing conditions, including mold, vermin infestations, and other health hazards. Despite these challenges, there are community-led efforts to improve the neighborhood. Nonprofit organizations and community groups are working to provide job training, education, and other services to residents. Local artists and musicians are also working to create a cultural scene in Brownsville, with events and performances that showcase the talent of local residents. There are also plans for new affordable housing developments and other economic development initiatives in the neighborhood, aimed at creating opportunities and improving the quality of life for Brownsville residents. We hope this information has been informative, and please remember that safety should always be a top priority, regardless of where you live. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.